Pick
Weekly.
Smith for the win.
Raisi K.
Yo, what's good, everyone? Welcome to week 4 of college football. Full slate gambling preview on Winning Picks Weekly. As always, my name is John Meleka with, of course, our Winning Picks Weekly man on Twitter /X, Greg, and at Chip Murphy 7. What's going on, guys? How was your college football weekend?
Very good, actually. Not as good as previous weeks, but still over 500. So I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. College football. I mean, if you're following both shows, college football is the only thing keeping me afloat right now. 39-27 on the year, and it is worse the opposite way at NFL. So trying to write the NFL ship. I'm not sure what exactly I'm missing in NFL that I'm seeing in college. Maybe it's talking out with you guys. So let's get into games because I want to hear what Chip's got going on. I know it's a down slate, but I'm sure there's going to be bets all over the place. And I still haven't made up my mind yet on these Thursday and Friday games. I'm sure there's going to be something that catches my eye. So very excited for this week.
Yeah, man. The only heartbreak last week was my main man Sam Hartman going down there with 1 second left. Shout out to the Buckeyes.
10 guys on the field at the end of the game. Like, how do you have that happen?
Tough. All right. Thursday, which is right now, about an hour or so, we got Middle Tennessee at Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky's -7. Chip, I know you've been thinking about this game all day, baby. Thursday night football, not NFL.
Not an NFL guy. Not really an NFL guy. So I'm thinking about Western Kentucky against
Conference
Middle
USA,
Tennessee.
Baby. That's what we're thinking about on Thursdays.
Yep. And I got Western Kentucky -7 against Middle Tennessee. It's weird. The spread, it opened, I think it's 7.5. It went down to 5.5 at one point. Now it shot all the way back up to 7 today. You said I was thinking about it. I was back and forth on the spread today, and I'm like, you know what? Looked at the total too. I think it's 60. And like, I was on Western Kentucky at the beginning. I like Western Kentucky. The numbers, like the opponents' points per game and stuff, are all weird for these teams because Ohio State like hung 60 on Western Kentucky or something like that. I forget who Middle Tennessee played. I think Georgia, but so the numbers are out of whack for these teams. But I've always liked Western Kentucky. Yeah, Alabama. Yeah. I'm taking Western Kentucky -7. They're at home too, so I like that one.
Greg, you don't have a thought on this game? You say you don't have anything on Thursdays and Fridays. No thoughts here?
No thoughts on that. I think I'm staying away from that. We got a little NFL action on Thursday. What about you, John? Are you looking at Sam Houston? I know you've been big on them this year so far. +7 at home against Jackson State. 8:00 tonight.
So this is Jacksonville State. This is not the Deion Sanders Jackson State. This is a good old Conference USA game. This is a huge day for the conference. I have Western Kentucky winning the whole thing, but Sam Houston's been nice, man. 2-1 against the spread last week. I'm not going to talk about it. We got to bury that game. They got smacked by Houston. Wasn't even close. Jacksonville State, they're 3-1. The game I really watched for them, like a lot of, was the Coastal Carolina game where Coastal smacked them, and Coastal stinks, right? As we've noticed, I've taken them every week, and that was the one game where I was like, no, Coastal's good. It's, they covered 2 touchdowns versus Jacksonville State. I think I'm taking Sam Houston. I wish it was a touchdown, but yeah, I'm taking Sam Houston. I
see 90% of the money right now in Jacksonville State. So
no one knows who Sam Houston is, man. They're 0-3. Why would you take them? But they're good.
All right, great team. Good teams win, great teams cover, and also too, if you like to fade the public, is an awesome spot for you to fade the public. So home team getting points.
I might sprinkle on the money line there. You guys have Chip, what else do you have for Friday? Or Thursday or Friday?
Nothing else on Thursday. On Friday, though, I got Cincy against BYU. I got Cincy -1 now. And I got Louisville, NC State over. Went against NC State hasn't covered yet this year. They're 0-4 against the spread. They're at home. So I don't know. I decided not to go with Louisville spread just in case, like maybe NC State gets together. But I think there'll be points in this game. So I took the over. And we're talking the big one on Friday night is Oregon State against Utah, 9:00. Oregon State's 4.5. I know, John, you love Utah. I like Utah too.
It's 3.5 now.
Oh, it's 3.5 now?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like at home, Oregon State bounce back game. Maybe finally this is the time when playing a backup quarterback catches up with Utah. Like
You
there's
think
so
Cam
much.
Rising will play though? Because he practiced last week. You thought he was
Who
going to play
knows?
last week.
Who knows? They
I
never
think
say
he's gonna
anything
play.
about it.
I think
They
he's gonna
never
play.
say anything about it though. We thought he might play last week.
I think this is the
And
week. They
I
have
mean,
to win
Oregon
this
State's
game.
favored by 3.5, so Vegas doesn't think he's playing.
They have to win this game. Utah has to win this game. Greg loved Utah all year. Their defense is unbelievable. The problem is, can they score against Oregon State defense? Right, that's the question here. What's up?
If Oregon State's coming off a loss, that's why I have him here. And I love Utah too. I have a Utah future yet to win the Pac-12. So I'm hoping Raisin comes back, and I'm hoping I'm wrong. I'm just saying, I think they've had some pretty close calls so far this season, Utah, and I think maybe on the road at Oregon State, maybe it finally catches up with them here.
Yeah, well, listen, I mean, I had UCLA last week. No, that was a tough loss for me. Dante Moore, especially throwing a pick six on the first play of the game.
Oh my God!
But honestly,
brutal.
it was 14-7 at the end there. They scored 7 points on UCLA defense, which is legit. That defensive end is legit. And honestly, they impressed me last week. I'm back on the Utah train. Like, give me Utah. They're gonna win this game. They're gonna stay undefeated. Oregon State, 3-2. They're gonna kind of be, in the middle of. They're gonna hold down the middle class of the Pac-12. I think it'll be Colorado, the head, and then followed right by UCLA and Oregon State. Like, that's gonna be the middle class. And then on
pretty
top,
good middle class.
Yeah, because on top you have USC, Washington, and Oregon and Utah, right? Washington State will come hang out at the bottom. Don't worry. I think Washington State lost coming.
Okay.
Soon. Yeah.
Really?
Wake up call for Washington State.
Yeah. I mean, listen. That's kind of why. What did you guys think of that shootout last week? Washington State, Oregon State. I
thought it was awesome.
mean,
I had the over in that game. I like Cam Ward. He came out slinging. I mean, they scored the ball with the first minute of the game, and they drove right down the field and scored again. Like they were.
Love those FCS guys, yeah. When they come into
Oregon
FBS and
State,
dominate, it's awesome.
I think the score just looks closer than it was. I mean, Oregon State just towards the end of the game was just putting up points against pre-that defense that wasn't doing anything. Washington State was up by so much. So, last week I think the over was 55, and they both scored into the 30s. This week it drops to 44. I think that's respect for the Utah defense. If I was leaning some sort of way, it might be that under, just because I don't know what I'm going to get from the Utah offense with or without Cam Rising. I think Oregon State so far this season has kind of played to the competition. Like San Diego State was kind of a low-scoring, close game. The other two games were blowouts to start the year, and then all of a sudden you get in a shootout with Washington State. I don't think they're going to get in a shootout with Utah, so I'd probably lead the under, but 44 is just such a low number. It's making me hesitant. That's why right now I have nothing, but again, Winning P Weekly on Twitter. Give us a follow, give us a like, let us know what you're taking, and stay up to date on what we're taking this weekend.
Yeah, I'm definitely taking Utah here. Are you touching Cincy BYU, Chip? I know you hate Cincy.
Yeah, I said I'm taking Cincy -1 here. Going against myself, fading myself here. Yeah, because I'm like you said last week, I was like, oh, Cincy's terrible, blah blah blah, all that. But
you were right.
I was right. I was right.
Yeah.
And today I'm looking at that game and I'm like, man, BYU, I need to fade BYU this week because BYU, everything on paper is like, man, BYU stinks. Like this is the one take Cincy spot that I'm going to have all year is against BYU. So I'm taking Cincy here.
All right. On to the 12 o'clocks. Huge games. Honestly, really fun ones. The double orange game, that's always fun. And this time it's at the Carrier Dome. Clemson at Cuse. This side Cuse is undefeated, and Clemson's 2-2. Just so
I know.
weird when you look at that. And Cuse only plus 6.5. I'm telling you right now, I think
It's
Cuse is
kind
going
of
to win this game.
disrespectful.
They're gonna win the game.
You think Cuse is going to win?
I legitimately think Cuse is going to win this game. They have good run defense. They're one of the top defenses in the entire league. I know
Yeah.
that sounds crazy. I know I don't want it sounds weird to say out loud, but they're really good. Clemson is kind of one-dimensional. I like Syracuse, man. I think they're gonna win the game. Honestly, that's my first best bet of the day. I don't know how else to put it. I love Syracuse.
I don't think I've ever heard you say I love Syracuse on this.
I know Clemson
podcast
stinks, bro.
before.
This is the biggest game. This is Syracuse's Super Bowl right here, and they're 4-0. Like they could start getting into real conversations here. Like, why not us? Like we're 5-0. We're beating every team. You know what I'm saying? Like they're gonna start getting into real bowl conversations.
That makes me obviously I'm taking Cuse plus 6.5, but that makes me nervous that Clemson stinks, all that talk. Like Cuse came out flat last week in the first half against Army. I think they were losing at halftime against Army. They did not play well in the first half. They took over the second half because they have more talent than Army. So they just won. So I'm hoping that they're ready to go because it's Clemson next week. Obviously, last week was a look ahead game.
But even with all that, Chip, they only didn't cover by a half point.
I know.
Like,
Yeah, but they were playing Army. They were playing
Army.
Army. Yeah, they were playing Army though. So I think they need to play 4 great quarters still to beat Clemson because Clemson, I would have felt a lot more comfortable with this game if Clemson had won last week, to be honest. Because Cuse has beat Clemson before though at the Dome. They've upset them before with Dino as the coach. So they can, you're right, they can beat him. They've done it before.
Clemson was way better too.
When Clemson was better, yeah. When Clemson was
and Syracuse was worse, prime. I would argue.
And Syracuse was worse. This is a better Syracuse team than the one, like they certainly a better quarterback. Garrett Schrader's a really good player.
I know.
Garrett Schrader's gonna be the best quarterback in that game, in my opinion, anyway.
ACC, man. Syracuse trying to hold down the middle class in the ACC. Trying to be the head of the middle class, dude. Why not?
It's quite a stretch for Syracuse coming up. They got Clemson at home this week, then they're at North Carolina next week, and then at Florida State the week after that.
Yeah, this is
what I'm saying.
This win would be massive for them. Like, absolutely huge.
And then North Carolina, that's like anything could happen. You know what I mean?
Carolina could lay an egg against anybody. So
even though they have the second best quarterback in the country, I know it's.
And then they don't have the time yet for the Florida State game because, to your guys' point, like if they win at Clemson, anything happens in North Carolina. Also, this is like a premier matchup against the top 5 Florida State team. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's got to win at home, man. I think this is it. The Orange Bowl. This is my Orange Bowl. I love when they play. I'm happy that it's in Cuse too.
Would have been cool if it was game day, but Duke, the first time at Duke is cool too. And for me, it's cool, but Cuse game day would have been nice.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you want to get into the Duke game, or you want to just keep going in chronological order?
No, keep going.
All right. Like so I want to talk about USC Colorado because huge noon game. If it's on Fox, you're gonna get it on 4K TV. Everyone's gonna be watching it. It's gonna be the big primetime game. But everybody's finally off of Colorado when I think it's time to be on Colorado because USC stinks. They have the best quarterback in the world. They have really good wide receivers, and that's it. Like that's literally it. Like, I don't know what anyone's watching. They almost lost last week to one of the worst college football teams I've seen all year, and I couldn't believe it. And I kept mashing the money line for Arizona State. It's like, yo, like if this happens, I'll be so happy because they were just playing so bad. Colorado's defense also bad. So over 73.5 sounds crazy. I don't think that's a crazy number, but yo, I don't care what anybody says. I love plus 21.5. I love Colorado 21.5. I think that Colorado's going to put up a lot of points on USC. And if they can get like one stop here, one stop that USC doesn't stop anyone. They don't stop UCLA last year. They don't stop Arizona State this year. They don't stop nobody. They're not going to stop Colorado. Shadur Sanders is going to have a monster game. Plus 21.5 is crazy. Honestly, I might have to sprinkle. Plus 860. I might have to sprinkle.
God. No, don't do that. Oh my God.
You guys were talking about everybody was on listen, you guys were all on Colorado over Oregon last week. Oregon is sound all the way through. It was at home in
I was so
Oregon.
wrong. I thought they'd cover. I
It
didn't
was-
think they'd win. I
I'm
was
just saying they have
completely
a
wrong.
Heisman. They have a Heisman quarterback. They have 5 stars all over. Like they're killing it everywhere. And you guys are like, no, Colorado's got this. I'm telling you, this week they're playing a team that stinks. Like I'm telling you, USC like
You
is
think
not.
USC does not stink? Their defense
Listen,
is bad.
oh,
They're going to score a billion points.
Yes, Caleb Williams and the wide receivers are unbelievable, and Colorado is not going to stop them. I agree, but 21.5. Arizona, they couldn't stop Arizona State. I don't know. This one, I'm back on
that's
Colorado.
why I'm
man.
leaning. That's why I'm leaning the total more than the. I'm gonna lean the over. Anytime I see a giant total like that, I love taking the over. To be honest, so
I also like the
I'm
running
just
back
gonna
from
take
USC.
over.
I also like the running back from USC. He's good, and Colorado has no linebackers, so it's going to be tough for them. But I like 21.5.
USC's team total I looked at was 48.5. Like that's so many points, and I wanted to take it, but I think I'm just gonna go with the game, the total 73.5. I'm gonna go with that there.
Colorado's at home. Does that mean anything to anyone?
Yeah, I'm taking Colorado. I'm taking Colorado on the points. To your
Really?
point, John, like they couldn't really stop Arizona State last week. We were texting about that game like at 1:30 in the morning. Like Arizona was getting chunk play. Arizona State was getting chunk plays. They were getting turnovers. I think USC fumbled at one point kind of later in the game. Like I had USC minus 35.5. They had no shot at that at any point in the game. That was just absolutely it's ridiculous because Arizona State looked like an actual team all of a sudden. And like you said, I think that teams come alive when they play USC. They know it's going to be a big game. There's absolutely no defense. So, yeah, if I'm getting 21 extra points, sure, sign me up for that.
But also, do you care that it's at 9 a.m. for USC?
No,
they don't play. They don't play at noon. They never play at noon.
Yeah, I mean it's just an hour difference for Colorado too. I mean, I get that they don't have to travel for it, but it's ridiculous.
How long?
It's
how long are they
going
to be there?
This is a noon game.
Yeah, it should be 3:30.
I'm saying in their brains it's 9 a.m. I don't know. It's just kind of wild for me to think that USC is going to go from playing at 1 a.m. last week.
Night game.
They go from playing at 1 a.m. last week to 9 a.m. this week.
Yeah, it's weird.
It makes no sense. All right. I love Colorado. I think they're gonna win. I'm gonna have to take that's my Hail Mary. Like I'm taking a Hail Mary parlay. No, that's for the NFL. But I'm taking like a Syracuse, Colorado, and then I'm about to get into this Tulane game. I'm so happy Tulane's finally getting some respect around here.
Yeah.
Minus 21.5. I love to see it. Versus UAB. Trent Dilfer stinks. UAB can't get it together. Tulane is unbelievable. I hate that 90% of the money. 98% of the money and 90% of the bets are on Tulane. Not great numbers to see. But I'm taking Tulane, obviously, first quarter, which is minus 6.5. Minus 5.5 on FanDuel, actually, right now. I'm taking Tulane. I love Tulane. Is 21.5 crazy?
It's high, but I'm taking it too, just because I'm riding the green wave with you. I don't think UAB is very good. I know UAB is not very good. I think they played, was it Louisiana Lafayette last week?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. And my one buddy was texting me about it. He's like, you got to take this game. You got to take this game. I'm like, I'm not taking the Raging Cajuns versus UAB. And it was a stone cold lock. Like they won by like 30 or something, if I'm remembering correctly. So, yeah, I'm with you. I'm hoping for the same thing again this week. Maybe it was 2 weeks ago, but yeah, give me Tulane minus 21.5.
All right, you guys have anything else for noon here?
Penn State versus Northwestern. My first best bet of the day. Minus 26.5.
Got that.
Easy peasy. Penn State's very good. Northwestern is very bad. You're practicing without the sound in the stadium to get ready for what it's going to sound like at Northwestern. I absolutely love that move. They're going to smoke Northwestern. I was thinking about taking the under in this game, but I think there's a chance Penn State scores 40-something points on their own.
It's minus 6.5 first quarter, just so you know.
I like that.
You're going to take first quarter?
Yeah, I have to. Any big spread like that, and I can get under a touchdown in the first quarter, I just take a parlay with all of them. If they all hit, they all hit. If they don't, they don't.
Yep. Last bet in the noon slate, Kentucky minus 1 against Florida.
Florida
Oh, you
stinks
took
or
that.
what?
Yeah, I just Chip kind of talked me back into Kansas and Kentucky last week. I didn't have them. They both hit for me last week. They're turning into just like automatic picks. I think Kentucky's 4-0 against the spread so far
I
this
think so.
season.
Yeah.
Kansas not so much, but Kentucky's just been playing good. I don't really believe in Florida. I think they had a crazy game against Tennessee. I just don't think Tennessee is very good. So I believe that they're home. It's a 1-point spread. So yeah, give me Kentucky at home. -1.
Yeah,
Chip, what do
I
you got
like
for
that
noon?
pick. I have the under in Kentucky against Florida. I may add Kentucky to my card too because I do like Kentucky a lot, and I agree with you. I think the Florida win was a lot more about Tennessee. I think they're just inconsistent this year. So I got that, and I also have Penn State against Northwestern, and I have the over in Arkansas A&M. It's 54. I had written down here. And of course, I have Akron again. I have Akron -2.5 against Buffalo. They covered for me last week. I love Akron, and Buffalo is one of the worst teams in the country. They're terrible. I hate how much money is on Akron. It's bizarre. It's unusual. It went from 1 to 2.5. That's how bad Buffalo is. That Akron is favored by 2.5 against them. But I don't know. I took Akron there, and I think that's
Tough.
1-3 versus 0-4 team. It's quite a matchup at noon.
Yeah.
for the
Not
bet.
only that, the under which you guys both had was on bad beats last week.
Oh
Just
my
got
God.
mixed up.
Quadruple overtime.
They
Yeah.
were just
I
about to
didn't
get the
take that.
under.
I didn't take that last week. I think maybe Danny had it with you, but I couldn't do the under. But I
I
felt
had
so
the-
bad for Chip when I saw it going into double overtime, triple overtime. It's like,
was
what are
brutal.
the odds
Tough.
that this is the game that goes into quadruple overtime?
Tough,
Of all the
man,
games,
tough.
man, of all the games, I'm glad I took them spread too. I always
Yeah.
take them spread pretty much, but this is the first time I've ever seen them favored in a long time.
It's crazy.
They're never favored. That's how bad, dude. Buffalo like won the MAC like 3 years ago. It's crazy how bad they've gotten.
They're one of those programs that just like goes up crazy, down crazy,
Yeah.
up crazy, down crazy. They just can't stay consistent.
For sure. It's hard to recruit. It's hard to recruit players to come play in Buffalo, New York, man. It's
Yeah.
cold. Yeah, guys don't want to go there.
For sure.
All right.
And I said Arkansas A&M. I said over there, right?
Yeah.
No, go ahead. Talk to us
Yeah.
about that.
Oh no, I was just gonna. That's all I want to say is I just
Okay.
have the. Do you guys have anything on that?
No, is the A&M quarterback hurt, or am I making that up?
I don't think so.
Okay. I thought I saw
'Cause
something about
They're
that.
favored by 6, so on the road.
Aggies QB out for the season.
Oh, really?
Connor Weigman.
Not sure. I didn't watch A&M last week.
See, sir, I haven't bet A&M at all.
Yeah, I'm not
Well,
touching this
I
game.
saw that tweet.
But another interesting game here.
Yeah,
which,
Chip. I think A&M's quarterback's out for the season.
Oh, shit.
Could be wrong. There's something to monitor. Again, we'll tweet out the
Yeah.
official picks on Saturday. Everyone will see it. We don't have to dive into
Oh
it
yeah,
right
he is
now.
out for the rest of the
But-
season.
Yeah, I thought I
Well, that
saw that
says a
on
lot.
Twitter.
Arkansas that their quarterback's out for the rest of the season, and they're still 6-point favorites on the road.
So that's the thing is, I went to bet that game because I was like, oh, I'll take A&M. I saw that because I hate Arkansas, and I was like, oh, I can't take Arkansas though, even though they're going up against a backup quarterback at 6
Arkansas
points.
stinks.
Yeah,
I didn't even know about the
bad.
backup quarterback thing, but I wanted to
Yeah.
take A&M because I saw I hate Arkansas so much, but I don't know. I couldn't,
Yeah,
or I want I can't take either one of those teams. I don't trust either one of those teams. I hate Arkansas, but I don't know. There's something still off with A&M. And now you're telling me the backup quarterback, but I don't know. I think I'm going to stick with the over in this one because it's weird that they're playing a backup quarterback and they're still favored by 6 on the road.
I think the other quarterback came in and played good last week.
Yeah.
For an A&M, so I think it looked good. But
Oh,
yeah, John, I
Arkansas
got nothing
just
else in the
sucks.
noon games. Do you have anything else, or you want me to jump to 3 o'clock?
No, jump to the threes.
Maryland minus 14 against Indiana.
It's 14.5 now. You still like
14
it?
and a half. That's fine. I'll take the hook,
I'll do
even though
that.
that scares me.
Yeah.
Again, I was on Maryland big last year. I bet them a lot last year. I've kind of been picking my spots. I think this is the second time I've taken them so far this year. Indiana's just not very good. I think Maryland's at home. 2 touchdowns. Shouldn't be too bad for them. So let's keep it moving for Maryland.
All right.
I got that one too. That's a good
All
pick. I mean, just based Indiana is absolutely awful. So a lot of the Big Ten is terrible. Pretty much the entire Big Ten is terrible besides the big 3 teams. So
It's crazy.
yeah.
It's crazy.
Maryland's
Give me Kansas plus 16.5 against Texas. Again, it's back to the Kentucky and Kansas thing. Like, I'm just riding with them until it bites me. Texas, big win against Alabama. Then back last week against who they play.
Who?
But now going up against Kansas, I just think Kansas is ranked. You're going at Texas, which is a little tough, but next week's Oklahoma, so maybe it's a little bit of a look-ahead game for Texas. I've liked what I've seen from Kansas so far this season. I've been betting them a lot, so 16.5 points is just a lot of points. So, yeah, give me Kansas in that one.
All right. Chip, what do you got?
I got the over in that game. I like Kansas too, but I don't know. I think this is Texas's year, man. I think they're going to win the Big 12. I think they could also win by like 3 touchdowns. But I love Kansas's offense. I think they're going to put up a ton of points. So I like over 61 in that game.
Okay, I like over 61 rather than minus 16.5. It's so scary. I feel like Texas doesn't cover big spreads. Everyone's always going to be on them, right? But, for this game, the public's actually on Kansas.
There you go.
All right.
It's
Nice.
a good Kansas offense, man.
Nice. All right. I'm going to go with a weird one here, and this is just like a totally what am I missing kind of spread here. Why is Cal minus 12.5 at home here against Arizona State? And everybody's on Cal. They have issues with their quarterback. They don't know who they're starting. They had a pretty good game against Washington last week. Honestly, they impressed me even in that terrible loss. Everybody loses terribly at Washington. Arizona State looked great versus USC. We were just talking about it. I don't know why it's minus 12.5. I don't know why everyone's on it, but I love Cal. I really do. I'm taking it. I'm taking minus 12.5. It's so weird. I'm just saying. I'm sticking with them.
Yeah, I have no idea. That's one of those ones that stood out to me too. But I was like, I have enough bets already. I'm not taking it. But it jumps off the page when you're looking at the page full of bets, and you're like, why? Like you said, Arizona State looked pretty good last week. Like 12 points, a lot of points. Like
we don't know who their quarterback is. Like if you Google right now Cal quarterback, I bet you it'll say question mark. We don't know. Like
yeah,
it's not set.
Yeah,
Very weird.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a spread for Wagner Rutgers or no? Shout out Staten Island.
It's not there.
Couldn't find one, but yeah, Rutgers again 3-0-1 I think against the spread so far this year, so that's one that I'm looking at for sure. My second best bet of the day, John, Georgia minus 14 against Auburn.
Nice. What about the 14.5, Greg?
Oh my God, these 14.5s are killing me. I should have put these bets in this morning. 14.5, that's fine. Again, I just think Georgia. I don't know if you guys saw the video or whatever from last week. Just halftime, chilling, hanging out, down at half. They don't care. They just rolled in the second half and killed. I forget whoever they were playing. So, same thing with Auburn. I just don't think Auburn's very good. Haven't watched a lot of Auburn this year, so hand up on that. If you guys think something different, please
They
let
got
me
their
know.
asses kicked by A&M last week.
So
27-10. They got smoked. Yeah.
Yeah. 14.5. I just don't think it's that crazy. I think Georgia's very good. I think Georgia's kind of slow rolling a lot of teams. They're one of those weird teams that hasn't covered all season. I just don't think they care. I think they're just playing. They're all the sights are set on the championship. So they'll take it slow. They'll take it easy in the first half. They'll rest players. They'll take plays off, and then they'll still win every single week.
That doesn't sound like a team to bet on, though. Like 14, like because they're on the road.
If it was like 28, maybe, but 14, I mean, You could get 14 points if it's a tie game of going into the fourth quarter. You just turn it up in the fourth quarter. Georgia could win by 3 touchdowns easy against this Auburn team, I think.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Yeah, if they get down early, it's a problem. I mean, look at Michigan last week. They gave up an opening touchdown, and then they battle all game just to get you the push. So, sure, it could definitely happen, but I just think Georgia's very good. Is underrated, as crazy as that sounds. Number one team in the country.
The number one team in the country. I don't know.
I know, but
I think we're just
think
taking them for granted at this point.
They just haven't covered all season, so people are starting to shy away from it.
It's true. And people are like, oh, they're not that impressive. I mean, because everybody's kind of there's quote unquote too many good teams in college football right now, but the Pac-12 is about to eat itself. And if the SEC eats itself too, then is there anybody that's really good? And Notre Dame lost the independent squad. So like if everybody has L's, then kind of what's up. But if Georgia keeps winning, I kind of want to jump to the sevens real quick, just because we keep saying the word Georgia. Fun Belt. I'm all over the Fun Belt this year. That's been my favorite conference to bet. I'm all over it.
This is the only game I put a note on, John, so I'm happy it caught your eye too.
Oh, I don't know which one, but Georgia State at home versus Troy. 4-0. They're going to smack Troy, and they're going to take over and be 5-0 in the Fun Belt. At the same time, Georgia Southern at home versus Coastal Carolina. They're -6.5. Georgia Southern's been fantastic all year. I cannot stop watching Georgia Southern. I cannot stop watching Georgia State. I know that sounds insane, but they've been so good all year. I love both of those teams. And I hate Troy and I hate Coastal Carolina. This is the perfect, double.
Why do you hate Coastal?
Dude, because they sucked all year. Oh my God, they've been so bad all season long. The only game that they've sucked.
They played all right against UCLA. They got smoked last week.
They covered UCLA by 1.5. UCLA smacked them. It was plus 15.5. They lost 27-13. Last week they lost to Georgia State. Last week they lost to Georgia State 30-17. They were -5.
No, Georgia State smoked them. At home, too. They beat them, too.
I know, on the teal field. Embarrassing stuff, man.
It was bad.
They
dominated them from the start. It wasn't even that close either.
I love the Georgias, baby. Give me all the Georgias.
I agree with you. I got both Georgias, too.
You might convince me. Why is the Georgia State only 1 point, though? That's what I can't figure out.
Troy's the favorite to win the conference preseason. I know that.
Yeah.
But they're 2-2. They're not very good. Right? They've lost to JMU. They lost to Kansas State. I guess maybe those are two good losses in the eyes of the Sun Belt, maybe. But Western Kentucky, they won by a field goal. And then to start the season, Stephen F. Austin. So I guess, you should win that game. But again, it's only by 18 points. I just haven't seen anything from Troy that jumps off the page. Like, okay, this team's, doing something. I guess they move the ball. Maybe they have a better defense that I think. Like I'm looking at now, like Georgia State's allowing 400 points. What's up?
Wasn't Troy's defense awesome last year?
Yeah, so maybe their defense is better than Georgia State's, so it's going to be a little bit more low scoring. But
I watched them all last week. I watched them all last week because I had Western Kentucky, and they beat them. So I was just watching them all game. Like, damn, how is Western Kentucky not beating them? I should be fading Western Kentucky today, but Chip has them, and I want them to win, so I'm happy about it. But they just look so bad, and I was like, how is this really bad Troy team winning? And then when I looked at the schedule, I was so happy that they were playing Georgia State this week. So I'm excited about both Georgias.
Yeah. I might do a little Georgia parlay, all three of them. But yeah, jumping back to the 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock window, my final best bet of the day, LSU -2.5 against Ole Miss. I just think LSU is head and shoulders better than Ole Miss. Don't think Ole Miss is very good. Battle for the SEC going on. I think if Ole Miss loses this week, their chance of contending obviously ends.
Well, if anyone loses,
LSU kind of same thing, right? LSU same thing. If they lose,
I'm
their
nervous about
chances.
this game, man. LSU should win, but that's the exact game that LSU loses. I hope LSU wins. I have them at least making it to the chip, right? And competing for the SEC. This is a big game for them. I hope they win, but the spread scares me. I really wish it was 6.5 or 7.5 or 8.5. I really do. I would feel more comfortable. Honestly, it scares me that it's so tiny.
Yeah, this is one of those things like back in the day when I was like first like really getting into college football, like 2016, 2015. A big thing for us was like the ESPN matchup predictor
Hmm.
being like a favorite and them getting plus money. And like this is like warning signs. Like ESPN match predictor has Ole Miss at 60% chance of winning and they're getting 3 points at home. Like I'm with you. It's actually starting to scare me a little bit too now that we're talking about it.
That's weird.
Um, but yeah,
I
I
hope
just think
so.
I just think LSU just has better guys. I just think they're a better team. To your point, maybe this is one that they typically lose, but
They should win. I hope they win.
yeah, it's under a field goal. Give me LSU minus 2.5. As long as it stays under a field goal, I'm comfortable with it.
All right, my best bet South Carolina, man, plus 11.5. I'm taking the money line here. Tennessee stinks. I don't even think Milton's playing. They're so bad. I don't care that it's at home at night in Tennessee. I actually don't care. I think that's actually worse for them because I think South Carolina is going to be more hyped about that game.
We're going
Give me
against
a-
each other.
Give
on
me
this
Spencer
one.
Rattler all day long. Honestly, I love South Carolina in this game. They're going to win. Plus 11.5 is nothing. Plus 11.5 might be the easiest bet of the day. I think they're going to win straight up. Straight up. Plus 330. No problem.
Didn't they beat him last year?
Yes.
South
Why
Carolina?
is Tennessee minus 11.5? They suck. That's
South
honestly like
Carolina
the
hasn't
Jets.
exactly looked
That's
great
like
this year.
that's like the Jets being minus 11.5 versus anyone. That's honestly what it feels like.
Nah,
What
I
do you
don't think
mean?
it's
They have
like
a
that.
decent defense and no offense at all. It really does feel like the Jets at home. Like all of a sudden they're just getting 11.5 versus like the Colts. Like that's what this game feels like. I love South Carolina here.
I mean, I have Tennessee. I have Tennessee in the over. Minus, you said it's 11.5 now? I guess it moved again. So I have Tennessee 11.5 in the over. I think the fact that they lost to him last year means something. So I like him there. And I don't know. I mean, obviously I'm rooting for Tennessee. I do like Tennessee. I like the over more than I do the spread, but I think that Tennessee will come out and win this one pretty handily. Part of it is because I think I was really wrong about South Carolina. Like beginning of the year, I thought like they were going to be a sleeper to like maybe win 10 games, and I was like, man, I was really wrong about that. I don't think South Carolina's the way you are about Tennessee. I'm kind of like that about South Carolina. I think South Carolina is
Damn, you
actually
comparing Milton to Spencer Rattler?
no. I like Spencer Rattler. It's just I don't think he has much around him. I don't think they're very good. So I think Tennessee maybe rolls them.
Greg?
I'm not taking anything in that game.
All
Don't
right.
like either of those teams. I think they both suck.
Damn.
So staying away.
Damn. Spencer Rattler catching
Maybe
heat.
the unders to play then if I had to pick something, but I'm staying away from them.
All right. A game that I'm staying away from, but I like both these teams, is Notre Dame and Duke. I mean, I love Riley Leonard and I love Duke, and it was so cool for them to beat Clemson, but he's throwing 1 touchdown this year. All right. And on the other hand, they're supposed to beat this Notre Dame team coming off a loss, a very heartbreaking loss where they're coming for revenge. It's just all very weird to me. I love Notre Dame, but I'm scared to take them against Duke, especially at home at Duke at night. But Notre Dame should win this game, and Sammy Hartman should kill and be back in the Heisman race. If everyone starts getting one loss, he's gonna be right in that race, right? If Caleb Williams catches an L, if Oregon catches an L, he's right there. He can get the Heisman again. So if Florida State gets an L,
I got the under
lot of
52.5 in this one.
It's a lot of ifs.
I think,
You
yeah.
just threw
I'm just
in
saying
there.
if they lose, I'm just saying
Yeah, there's a lot of
if they
football
get
left. We're
one
still in
loss.
September. Yeah, it could happen. There's a lot of dominoes to fall. A lot of these conferences are going to start playing each other. A lot of teams
Nobody
are gonna
wins the
start getting
Heisman in
cannibalized.
September.
Yeah,
But you'll definitely lose
Exactly.
it in September. That's what I'm saying.
True.
His is not lost yet.
How many
true, that's
people
true.
spent
Shedeur
money
Sanders
on
lost.
Travis Hunter? Yeah, to win the Heisman after week 1.
Yeah.
I mean, Shedeur Sanders done too.
Yep. Yeah, Notre Dame. I got the under in this one. I think last week against Ohio State. I think I had the over in that game. That was tough. I thought they were going to come out strong, both these teams. Instead, they did on defense. They kind of played a little, conservative. Defenses showed up. I think the same thing is going to happen in this game. At Duke, at night, I think Notre Dame's probably going to win this game because, like you said, John, tough loss last week, so they're bouncing back. They have the guys to bounce back with. I don't know how I feel about Duke yet. I mean, impressive one against Clemson at home again at night, but I don't know how impressive it really was. Because I just don't think Clemson's very good. So yeah, give me under 52.5. I'm kind of surprised by the total. I thought it would be in the 48, 47 range. So kind of surprised it's up in the 50s.
All right, Chip, what else you got for me?
Yeah, I got Duke spread in that one. Just not really. I like Duke, so I'm just betting them spread. I'm not going to bet against them. I thought about taking the under too because I think it could be more of a defensive. I was like you, Greg. I was surprised it was that high. I think it could be more of a defensive slugfest than that. Like Elko's a defensive coach, Freeman's a defensive coach. Like I don't think Sam Hartman's going to like throw for a bunch of yards in that game. And
it's going down. It started at 55.5. 90% of the money's on the under. It's down to 52.5. So it's probably going to keep getting lower.
Yeah, it should. I agree. The other games I don't love it, but I do have Nebraska plus 17 against Michigan. I'm back on Nebraska for 1 week anyway. Michigan still hasn't covered. So I'm taking Nebraska plus 17. They're going with a new quarterback. Thank God.
It's going to be
Sims
worse.
is out.
He's the backup quarterback.
How can he possibly be worse than Sims was?
I think Michigan's going to – I don't think they're going to score 1 point. I don't think Nebraska's going to score 1 point.
We'll see. Are you taking Michigan?
I mean, now that we're having this conversation, maybe I just will out of spite. But I was just not gonna. I was just gonna stay away. But Nebraska's not gonna score a point.
Okay, I like Nebraska there. I like them at home. I can't quit Nebraska apparently.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I have Michigan to win the national championship, so I don't need to bet them any week. That's my biggest bet of the college football season. The most money I put down was on Michigan to win the national championship. So I'm rooting for them every week. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But so I just like Nebraska in this spot. Michigan hasn't covered yet, man. They haven't played their best football yet.
Yeah, exactly. And then Nebraska, when they play teams, they score 10 points, 14 points. Like they scored 14 against Colorado.
New quarterback.
New quarterback, John.
New
what do you not get?
What do you not understand about new quarterback?
There's a new guy. We have Trevor Siemian now. It's all okay, John.
Yeah, exactly.
He was the backup. That's what I'm not getting.
Yeah.
All right,
exactly.
Yeah, I'm taking
the quarterback.
Let's go.
I got a couple rapid fire here that I think are maybe like a little bit earlier than the 7 o'clock window we're in right now. UNLV minus 10.5 against Hawaii. UNLV is 4-0, I believe, against the spread so far this season. Hawaii, I just don't think it's very good, so that's don't think just throw pick. Oregon minus 27.5 against Stanford. I think Oregon is very good. I think Stanford is very bad. 4 touchdowns, I think is doable for Oregon. Might be a little bit of a letdown spot after such a big win against Colorado last week, but I just think Stanford is very bad.
No, I'm with you on that one. I like Oregon.
Oklahoma minus 20 against Iowa State. Again, these are big spreads for a reason. Oklahoma, I think, is pretty good. Iowa State, I think, is very bad. Last week, I checked the under in Iowa State. Both teams scored more points than I expected, so I'm staying away from the total. I think it's, again, very low total this week, but just give me Oklahoma in this one, minus 19.5. I think they should be able to win by 3 touchdowns against this Iowa State team.
I'm with you on Oklahoma and Oregon. I think Iowa State is so bad. I think Campbell's going to get fired. I think they're done. So I'm with you on that.
Yep. I just want to get caught back up to 7 o'clock.
That doesn't matter.
Yeah. Do they have a good defense, Iowa State?
I've been liking their defense.
I guess I really haven't been paying too much attention to their defense. Their offense is just so bad. I
know.
They don't have a quarterback.
Whoa. Anthony Becht.
No, I love Anthony Becht.
Shout out Rocco.
Last week was a shootout. Oklahoma State, they played 34-27. They won. So
that's what I'm saying.
Oh, that's embarrassing for Oklahoma State.
Yeah, it's tough.
Don't
I
sleep
mean,
on
I
Iowa
just don't know
State,
what's
bro.
happening to
I
Oklahoma
don't like
State.
that bet either, Chip. Don't sleep on Iowa State, bro. Oklahoma stinks. Oklahoma's never good, man.
Well, they were good
Dude.
2 years ago.
Oh,
they just haven't been good. They weren't good last year.
I like Iowa State plus 19.
I've been down on
Oklahoma's not covering
Oklahoma.
20 points, bro.
Okay.
I like Iowa State. Give me that. Two spite picks against Chip. Shout out Rocco.
It wasn't even my pick.
It's against
It was
me.
Greg's
That's fine.
Oklahoma. It was Greg?
Yeah, I have Oklahoma.
All right, well, spite pick each.
That's fine.
One against
Next,
Greg,
you're
one
gonna
against-
you're gonna tell me about this. You're gonna give me a detailed report on Iowa State's quarterback this week, and the detailed report's gonna be like, I threw a pick 6 on the first drive, and you should. Other than that, he played good. It's like, oh yeah, he threw a pick 6 on the first drive because he stinks. That's
Yeah,
right.
exactly. God.
Yo, you guys, your hate on UCLA will not be tolerated. You're lucky they're on their bye week.
Yeah. Some of these teams are on their bye week. It threw me off. Like I was looking for Oak State. Like, I don't know what happened to that program. I think Gundy might be on the hot seat because they've just fallen off a cliff mid
transfer portal, man. He won't
September.
do it. He's like Dabo. He won't do the transfer portal.
Yeah, it's
Very
tough. My
silly.
last 7 o'clock game here, TCU minus 11.5 against West Virginia. Again, I think TCU. People had the taste in the mouth from week 1 against Colorado. I think they're actually okay. John, you talked about them last week, and you got me on the train, I believe, with
Hell
TCU.
yeah.
Or was it 2 weeks ago, maybe?
I love TCU.
And I rode with them. They did well. West Virginia, I just don't think is very good. So TCU minus 11.5.
Hell yeah. No, it's up to 13.5, bro, on FanDuel. It's crazy.
Should have put these in.
Chip, you got any other games for us?
7. Oh,
Anything.
it's 7:30, I guess. It's
Yeah, 7:38.
Yeah, Iowa, Michigan State under. Just Iowa, it's under. I think Michigan State's gonna probably get rocked, but I don't know. I can never count on Iowa to score too many points to cover a spread. So
Sure.
taking Iowa, Michigan State under 36.5. And I got little rapid fire. Oh, I forgot to say Virginia plus 3.5 against Boston College.
Wow.
I'm back. I know. I made the stupid mistake of taking Boston College last week and thinking that like the red bandana game meant something when it was just a one-off fluke.
It means something, Chip.
It meant something that day. It meant something.
Yeah.
For the rest of the season, it meant nothing. So now I'm taking Virginia. I want to take them money line, and I probably will end up doing that. But right now I have them plus 3.5. And I also I'm fading Bama, which I know is probably stupid, but Mississippi State plus 14.5. Bama's record against the spread on the road is bad. It's bad. And on the road as a favorite, it's even worse. So even before like Saban's Bama teams, like the dynasty started settling down, whatever you want to say it, they haven't been great on the road recently against the spread. And 14.5, I know Mississippi State hasn't looked great, but Bama should not be favored by that much against anyone. I just don't think they score a ton of points anymore.
Fair.
So I don't know. Mississippi State plus 14.5. Got them. And Texas Tech minus 8.5 against Houston. Houston's terrible. Houston's so bad. And Texas Tech needs a win.
Houston
say,
is bad,
Texas
even
Tech
though
bad?
they smacked Sam Houston last week. They are bad. I watched that game.
Yeah.
They're bad.
Mm.
What's up, Greg?
Isn't Texas Tech bad? Didn't they just get their second loss?
Yeah, they did. They lost to oh God. Now
They're
not bad. I don't think they're
him out as a mortal lock week 1. That's my only. I would have won $1,200 week 1.
You gave him out as a
bet
mortal
them.
lock in week 1?
Someone
Oh,
gave
I was
him
totally
out.
wrong
Some
about
guy on
Texas
part
Tech.
of my take did. Dude, they lost to
Probably.
West Virginia as a 6-point favorite outright last week. They suck.
Oh, that's right. They did. Oh, I hate
All right.
Texas Tech because I had them as I had them my Big 12. You know, FanDuel had the Big 12 conference exactas you could pick, like this team versus this team. I had my long shot was Texas against Texas Tech for the Big 12 conference championship. So I was totally wrong about Texas Tech. I just think I've watched Houston a couple of times. I think Houston's really, really bad. So I think Texas, And like I
Just
said,
one.
desperate need of a win after last week. I'm surprised by how West Virginia has played, but we won't talk about them.
Let me ask you a
Yeah.
question. Random question here. What happens to the entire college football landscape if USC loses to Colorado this week?
I don't know.
Everything changes, right? Like the Heisman Trophy changes, the playoff changes, and the Pac-12 changes.
Yeah.
I think it gets shuffled around. I don't know if it changes like dramatically. Like I think the same thing you were just saying about Sam Hartman a little bit ago goes for Caleb Williams. It's like, okay, we just need Texas to lose a game and Oregon to lose a game. He's right back in the Heisman conversation again.
It changes in that Caleb Williams' Heisman chances probably drop, and Shador Sanders is right back into the Heisman position.
Oh, yeah, that's true, actually.
Yeah, I
didn't
think it
about
helps
that.
Colorado more than it hurts USC.
You think
USC
USC
is
will be out of the
definitely still
Pac-12?
alive in the Pac-12. They just have to, maybe run the table. I don't know.
Interesting.
Pac-12 stacked, but is a 2-loss team ever going to get into the playoff?
No.
No, because they still do. They still have USC still has Notre Dame on their schedule, Utah on their schedule, Washington on their schedule, Oregon on their schedule. Like they could give Washington their first loss late in the season. They could give Oregon their first loss late in the season. And that's the only thing that's going to be on everyone's mind. Like if you want to lose, you want to lose early.
Yeah, I'm gonna sound like such a USC hater because even if they beat Colorado like they're supposed to, I'm gonna I think Oregon's a way better team than them. I think Washington's a way better team than them. Like I'm already like thinking ahead. I already know I'm gonna be a USC hater because I just think those teams are just so much better. All right.
Yeah.
Anyway,
last game for
yeah. Anything
last
else
game
for
for
this
me.
slate?
Yeah, we were just talking about 10 o'clock slate. I think Washington's good. I've jumped on the Washington bandwagon.
So good.
I'm with you. Minus 18 against Arizona. I hate laying these big spreads. It kind of works out 50-50 for me. But I'm right there with it again. 18. I need something late night. I'm going to be up watching games. So give me Penix to Washington.
Hell yeah. And Odonze.
Yeah. I had Arizona last week or 2 weeks ago, and I think they covered that game. They look okay here and there. Yeah, against UTEP. UTEP's just so bad.
I know.
So, yeah.
UTEP and the TSA are so bad.
It's crazy.
Anything else, Chip? I'm done.
No, I'm done too. I was thinking about maybe Washington, but I haven't looked at it enough.
Yeah, I'll take the
Murphy
first quarter,
7 on
obviously.
Chip Murphy 7 on Twitter, Winning P Weekly on Twitter, Knicks, Jets, etc. Jay Meleka on Twitter. Follow us, like, subscribe. Let us know what you're taking this weekend because we'll be giving out all the picks. Saturday morning, we'll be tweeting everything out as Chip goes on Thursday and Friday. He'll be tweeting his stuff out. So give him a follow. Let him know what you think because we love talking football. We're going to keep talking football twice a week, every week during the season. So,
hell yeah. All right. We out. Let's go Buckeyes, huh, Raisi?
big win. Big win.
That was a big win.